Hi, and welcome to another week of online learning. I will apologize in advance. I will probably be doing some coughing through this, but it was suggested that perhaps I wear a mask while I do the video. So we will see how this works. Well, I hope you are ready for some new learning. Let's go. This is a concept that Carner Blue has talked about. Monarch, you probably don't need this type of an explanation, but I'll use it anyway, just as another way of thinking about working with integers. When we think about balloons, balloons are often thought of as containing helium, and if you would let them go, they would float upward into the sky. A weight, think about an Acme anvil from Bugs Bunny cartoons, things like that. Those are very heavy, and if you let one go, it would drop down to the ground. But if you've seen the movie Up, you know that there can be enough balloons to lift and carry something that is heavy, or you can reduce the number of balloons for that floating heavy thing to sink. There's also, scientifically, there is a balance, a perfect balance, where there's enough lift to balance the weight of gravity to have this contraption hover in midair. This is what we're going to call a starting point. In theory, our starting point has an equal amount of lift with an equal amount of weight, and it's hovering in midair. We also have a number line. This number line, instead of horizontal, ground level, is vertical. It goes up and down. We have our 0 here. Our positive numbers go up the number line, and our negative numbers go down the number line. When we think about adding and subtracting with excuse me, integers, we can think of the balloons as being all positive numbers. A positive number is a balloon. Anything in the black area is a positive number. Our heavyweight our anvil, can be thought of as a negative number. It's just a number that's in the negatives. So, remember, we're going to have this hovering in midair. And this arrow is going to be pointing to the number line, somewhere on the number line, wherever our starting number is in our math problem. So if we take a problem such as 4 minus negative 3, our starting number is 4. So that's where the arrow is. Now we're taking away negative 3. We're going to take away from this. We're going to actually remove something away. And we're removing a negative number. If we remove a negative number, remember a negative number is a weight. We're going to take some of that weight away. If we're taking some of that weight away, then there's less gravity pull down, which means our contraption here will rise. So if we start at 4 and take away negative 3, we start here at 4, we take away a negative, so we're going to float up 3. 1, 2, 3. We landed at 7, so 4 minus negative 3 is 7. We actually went up. Let's look at negative 10 minus negative 12. So this contraption is going to be pointing down here at -10. Well, it's just going to start at a perfect balance. Now it says we're going to take away a negative. If we take away a negative, we're still removing some of this weight. If we remove some of this weight, this thing will start floating up. So we're starting at -10, we're subtracting or removing a weight of -12, so we're going to go up 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We floated all the way up to a +2. So our answer to this is a 2. If we have a 3 minus 4, we're going to start pointed at the 3. I'm going to take away 4. Well, 4 is a positive number. We're going to take away a balloon. If I pop a balloon, there's not as much lift, and this whole thing is going to start sinking. It's going to go down. So 3 minus 4, we start at 3 and we go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we end at -1. What about -3 minus 6? This thing is going to start at -3, and I'm taking away 6. 6 is a positive number, so I'm getting rid of a balloon. If I get rid of balloons, this whole thing is going to sink. So it's -3 down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We end up at -9. And the last one for this type, -3 minus -6. So we're starting at -3 again, and I'm still taking away. Only this time I'm taking away -6. I'm taking away a negative, which is a weight. So if I remove some weight, this whole thing is going to float upward. So start at -3, take away -6, so I float up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I stop at 3, +3. Number lines only help us so far. A problem like this is difficult to do on a number line, so we need excuse me, we need to know how to do this mathematically. Well, the principle is the same. We're starting at 45, and we're taking away a negative number. So if we take away a negative, I'm taking away some negative, my number is going to, this is going to float up the number line. It's going to get bigger. It's going to increase to a bigger number. So if I know I'm starting with 45, and I'm increasing by 62, I just need to add them. 6, 7. The answer is 107. And that is correct. 45, taking away a negative, which makes it go up or increase. 62, 45 plus 62, 107. That's how we can use this concept to figure out our direction, to figure out what operation we use to get our answer. A number like this, 26 minus 69. So we're going to start with 26, but we're taking away 69. 69 is a positive, so we're going to remove balloons. If I'm removing balloons, this is going to go down. From 26, it's going to go down the number line. Okay, so if I'm at 26 and I'm going to go down the number line, 69, am I going to cross 0 into the negatives? Yes. Yes, I am. Here's the thing. You cannot set this up as 26 minus 69. This is not something you can do mathematically. So instead of doing that, I'm going to take my biggest number. I'm going to subtract my smaller number, but because I am crossing 0, my answer is going to be a negative. Now I subtract like normal. 9 minus 6 is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. Negative 43 is the answer. So I'm at 26. I go down 69, so I'm crossing the 0 into the negatives. 69 minus 26, I put the negative sign in the front, and my answer is negative 43. That's pretty easy. If you use this idea as you think about and say the problem out loud, if you are adding or taking away a positive or a negative, and you think about this idea, if I'm adding a weight, my starting number is going to go down the number line. If I take away a balloon, a positive number, my starting number will go down the number line. If I take away a weight, it makes it lighter, my starting number is going to go up the number line. Adding a balloon, I'm going to go up the number line. If you think about what you're going to do, it'll help you figure out how to set it up. And very easily, 2 minus 6. Okay, you can't do 2 minus 6 if it's written like that, or however, you just can't do it. But you do know that if you start at 2 and you take away 6, you take away a balloon, you're going to go down 2 minus 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You end up at negative 4, but mathematically you can't do this. Just take 6 minus 2, but know that your answer is going to be a negative. 6 minus 2 is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. The negative is on the front because it's not truly 6 minus 2. It's 2 minus 6. We just can't do that. We cannot do this. But you can do this. Lesson 1.6 is going to go over this in a bit more detail. On page 34. On page 35, there is a checkpoint after example 2. Take a look at some of the checkpoints. Checkpoint number 1 says 2 minus 6. Did we just do that? I think we just did that. Totally by accident. I did not know that that was there, but I think we just did that. So let's skip that. We've already done it. How about number 5? It says y minus 3. So solve it when y is equal to negative 14. So what our problem really is negative 14 minus 3. And that's very doable. Our starting point is going to be negative 14. Well, it's down here. If I take away 3, I'm taking away a positive number. I'm getting rid of a balloon, which means my starting number is going to go down the number line. So I'm at negative 14, down 3. 14, 15, 16, 17. Negative 17. Again, if we talk about what we're doing, you'll be able to go the right direction up or down the number line from whatever our starting number is. For your assigned work, for exercises on page 36, 37, and 38, you are going to do the odd numbered problems. So let me show you a couple of even numbered problems. Number 4 is 6 minus negative 2. So we're going to start with a 6. And we're taking away negative 2. We're going to remove from here a negative. So we're removing some weight. If we remove some weight, we're going to float up the number line. How far? 2. 6 up 2? 8. Our answer is 8. So the answer to number 4 is 8. Try this in your head. Try this in your head. This is number 10. Negative 7 minus m when m is equal to negative 6. So we have negative 7 minus negative 6. See if you can come up with an answer. I'll solve it in a moment. Okay, time's up. Negative 7 is where I'm starting. So start at negative 7. I am taking away negative 6. So I'm removing a weight. If I remove a weight, I'm going to float up the number line. So I'm going to start at negative 7, and I'm going to float up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I came to a stop at negative 1. My answer is negative 1. How did you do? I'm going to skip over a lot of these parts because it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of repetition. But you solve it the same way. If we skip over to the section that has number 44, we'll see it says y minus negative 9 minus z equals something. We need to solve that when y is equal to 14 and z is equal to negative 7. This section tells us that x is equal to something, but x is not part of my problem, so I'm going to ignore that for right now. What this is really saying is y is 14 minus negative 9 minus negative 7. What does all of that equal? Okay. We're going to start at 14. When we start at 14, we're going to take away negative 9. We're taking away a negative, so we're taking away a weight, which means our 14 is going to get bigger. It's going to go up our number line. So how do I make 14 bigger? I add. 9 plus 4, 23. 2 and 1 is... what? Sorry. 13. Brain dead. 4 plus 9 is 13. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I'm at 23 right now. I'm at 23 when I take away negative 7. So my starting number is now 23, and I'm taking away negative 7. So I'm taking away more negatives. I take away more negatives, and my 23 is going to go up. Well, how do I make my 23 go up? I add. I add 7. Let's see if I can do my addition correctly now. 3 plus 7, 10, carry the 1. 3. My answer is a positive 30. So my answer to this problem is 30. Does that make sense? It's really just a matter of talking your way through it, figuring out what we're doing, what it means. And is your starting number getting bigger, or is it getting smaller, regardless of where on the number line it starts? If you can work your way through that, You shouldn't have very many problems with this work.
If you do have problems, please make sure to join in a Zoom meeting Tuesday or Thursday, and you can ask your questions and get it figured out so that you can continue with this work.
So on your list of things to do, you can cross off watch video because you've just done that. Now you're all set to do your assignment in the pre-algebra book, attend at least one of the 2 Zoom meetings, and do one of the choice work available on Google Classroom. As always, if you have any questions about this work, Monarch, you can email Fran, Carner Blue, email Andrew, and we will answer your questions as quickly as possible. Hope you have a lazy day like my dogs are doing. Once you're finished with your work, get outside, enjoy some sunshine. It's supposed to snow this weekend and be very cold and yucky, so take advantage of a warm few days while we have it, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me.